Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal.
Yes, I remember Lincoln Riley. That's Joe Biden getting the name of Lincoln Riley wrong after she was murdered by an illegal alien in the state of Georgia. Joe Biden, I think he still never met with the family. That's okay. When you're a Democrat, that's really it's not a problem. The news media holds you to no standard at all. They just want to have sex with you or your son or your daughter or your dog or something. They're not normal people. These are not the good people. And with that said, let's go to the latest illegal alien murder of a woman in the United States, although there may be more recent examples. This is the arrest. National Review has the story, and the Washington Post doesn't because they're not a newspaper at all. Police arrested a 23-year-old illegal immigrant, Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez. Why don't I have like 5 names with 20 syllables? Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez. If you say it real fast, it's not as many syllables. Arrested him on Friday and charged him with the rape and murder of Rachel Morin. Rachel Morin was a mother of 5 who was brutally killed on a hiking trail last year. Victor Hernandez is now in custody, but I want to share with you the sheriff of Harford County in Maryland, who's just great, Jeffrey Gawler. Jeffrey Gawler is the sheriff, and he's wonderful. Now, Warren went missing last August after going for a walk along the Ma and Pa Trail in Maryland's Harford County. Investigators believe that the suspect attacked Morin, this woman, mother of 5, dragged her into a drainage culvert where he murdered her. DNA evidence at the crime scene connected the suspect to a 2023 home invasion in Los Angeles. He came in here illegally, and it didn't stop there, in which he assaulted a 9-year-old girl. Now, with the new DNA evidence, they've been able to figure out that this is the guy. Authorities found Hernandez in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and issued his arrest warrant on Friday. They found him sitting in a bar, as I understand it, drinking, no doubt. Hernandez illegally came into the U.S. in February of 2023, February of last year, just more than a year ago, after murdering a young woman in El Salvador in January of 2023. So this murderer in El Salvador murdered a young woman in El Salvador in January of 2023 and then sauntered into the United States in February of 2023. Most of the in-between time was travel time. Now, Interpol, the international police organization that doesn't do a lot of good, had issued a warrant for Hernandez's arrest in El Salvador because they knew that he fled the country. It's a small country. And the sheriff in Maryland, who is just great, said that he believes that this individual has gang ties, naturally. Now, it gets worse. He brutally attacked a 9-year-old girl and her mother during a home invasion in March of 2023 in Los Angeles. And why would that be a problem? Now, with that, because it's just another murder, right? And in January, just by the way, Harford authorities in Maryland arrested a 17-year-old illegal immigrant, also from El Salvador, for murdering a 20-year-old local woman, Kayla Hamilton. Kayla Hamilton was murdered by another illegal alien that was waved into the country by Joe Biden and the Democrats, who want more murder, and they just tell you to shut up and learn to speak Spanish, like Barack Obama did. Amazing stuff. Hernandez's arrest comes after Laken Riley, a 22-year-old nursing student, was murdered on a Georgia running trail by an illegal immigrant from Venezuela. That suspect, Jose Ibarra, 26, was recently indicted by a grand jury. Charges of malice, murder, felony murder, aggravated battery, aggravated assault with intent to rape, and more. And the Democrats by their deeds, by their acts, by their policies, the Democrats clearly want more of this in the United States of America. And they're an absolute disgrace to their positions. And you want to be law enforcement, you want to be a lawmaker and hold elected office. Now let's go to the sheriff of Harford County, who's just great. I mean, I saw this guy in this press conference, was amazing. Sheriff Jeffrey Gawler talking about the murder of Rachel Morin and the killer that has now been arrested in Oklahoma and will have to be extradited to Maryland, where the criminal will be put on trial and then will pay millions of dollars, putting the rapist, murderer, child attacking, home invading, Salvadoran murdering, illegal alien, will put him in prison for decades, and it will cost us millions and millions of dollars. And it's all because of Joe Biden's policies, because policies have consequences, and Joe Biden's policies very often have lethal consequences. We just mentioned Laken Riley. There's also Ruby Garcia, murdered by an illegal alien. There was the woman in Pennsylvania, murdered by an illegal alien who escaped from prison, was on the run in the mountains and the forests of Pennsylvania for like 2 weeks or something, who was caught. Now, let's go to soundbite number one in Harford County Sheriff, wonderful, in Maryland, Jeffrey Gawler.
Rachel was not his first victim. And it's my understanding that this suspect, this monster, fled to the United States illegally after committing the brutal murder of a young woman in El Salvador a month early in January of 2023. Once in our country, and likely emboldened by his anonymity, he brutally attacked a 9-year-old girl and her mother during a home invasion in March of 2023 in Los Angeles. And as everyone I believe is aware, that was our first DNA match linking Rachel's case to the Los Angeles case.
You know what Joe Biden is doing today? CBS News is very excited to announce Biden preparing to offer legal status to undocumented immigrants who have lived in the U.S. for 10 years. Lived in the U.S., you're here illegally, so every day you're breaking the law for 10 years, and you may be a gang member, a drug smuggler, a rapist, as I understand it, because it's true. They're not sending their best. They're not sending us their best. So the Biden administration is making plans to announce one of the largest immigration relief programs in recent history, in ever history, developing a policy which would offer legal status to hundreds of thousands of immigrants, CBS News writes. That'll mean millions, and we're talking illegal aliens, not immigrants. Immigrants are people that come here legally, all right? A bank customer is a person that has money in the bank and goes in to do business. A bank robber is someone that goes in with a gun, and you go in and rob a bank with a gun, you're not a customer. But the news media might term you that way. But CBS News, legal status to hundreds of thousands of immigrants, illegal, living in the country without proper documents. 4 people familiar with the plans told CBS News. Why 3 were not enough? You didn't trust the first 3? Or you're all in a room being briefed on it. The program being developed by White House officials would offer work permits and deportation protection to unauthorized immigrants, illegal aliens, married to U.S. citizens. If you're married to a U.S. citizen, you don't have to worry about being deported. You're pretty much okay. As long as they have lived in the U.S. for at least 10 years, this is a lie. The language is going to change. I can feel the earth shifting under our feet on this one. And just amazing. The sources said, requesting anonymity to talk about internal government plans. And everybody's anonymous in this town. And they're mostly dressed like the other gender. Pretty amazing stuff. The proposal will be known as parole in place. Parole in place. Also give a pathway to permanent legal status and U.S. citizenship, of course, to some of the beneficiaries by removing an obstacle in U.S. law, by forgetting about the law that prevent those who enter the U.S. illegally from obtaining green cards without leaving the country first. So they're going to throw out all the laws. And, when we're hunting gang members from Venezuela murdering, raping, and murdering women, the Democrats say, you know what, this would be a good time to legalize all the illegal aliens. Let's go back now to Harford County Sheriff Jeffrey Gawler.
I want to now direct these comments to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and to every member in both chambers of Congress. We are 1,800 miles away here in Harford County. We are 1,800 miles away from the southern border, and the American citizens are not safe because of failed immigration policies.
Well, they're not failed. This is what they want. These are the outcomes. These are the results that they know are coming, that they want, right? So Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez, with ties to MS-13, by the way, the Washington Times is reporting, because the Washington Times reports the news and the Washington Post doesn't. So here's another El Salvador illegal alien murdering yet another woman, this one a mother of 5. And the White House announces, you know what, let's make hundreds of thousands, no millions of illegal aliens into legal residents because they want more women raped and murdered. These people are not on our side. Boy, are they not on our side. Unbelievable. Speaking of which, Chuck Schumer, front page of the Washington Times today also, bump stocks. Supreme Court decision on Friday saying, banning bump stocks is stupid, and it was done stupidly, so you can't do it. Bump stocks land in political arena after high court ejection is the story of the front page of the Washington Times. But we learned this morning that Chuck Schumer, the Lizard King, who doesn't know how to grill burgers on the grill, he is planning on introducing legislation himself that would once again ban bump stocks. Once again, ban bump stocks, which will save 0 lives. 0. Not a single life will be saved by this idiocy. But pay no attention to any of that. Just amazing. Also, the governor of Maryland, who is a Democrat, of course, Wes Moore, to grant broad pardon, mass clemency for marijuana crimes. It's mass clemency for illegal aliens from the White House because we're a third world country. The left is the third world. Joe Biden is a moron, and he's the third world. Barack Obama is not a moron, and he is the third world. And these people are third worlding the United States of America. And mass clemencies are things you hear about in third world countries when, banana boat leaders take over countries, and we've got that here. Mass clemency for marijuana crimes. Thousands in Maryland set to have charges scrubbed. They're saying Governor Wes Moore of Maryland will issue a mass pardon of more than 175,000 marijuana convictions Monday morning, one of the nation's most sweeping acts of clemency involving a drug now in widespread recreational use. The pardons will forgive low-level marijuana possession charges for an estimated 100,000 people in what the Democratic governor said is a step to heal, and now you know where it's going, don't you? To heal decades of social and economic injustice that disproportionately harms black and brown people. They capitalize brown this time, too. They don't normally do that. More noted criminal records have been used to deny housing, employment, and education, holding people and their families back long after their sentences have been served. A low-level marijuana crime, you probably never served a sentence, but never mind that. So it's mass clemency, drugs, mass clemency, illegal aliens. The Democrats are undoing everything: society, culture, civilization, language, law and order. Aren't they amazing? Just extraordinary. This June, it's June already, marks 2 years since the overturn of Roe v. Wade, the Dobbs decision. But guess what? We learned that in 2023, we had the highest number of abortions since 2012. That's more than a decade, the opposite of what the Democrats said would happen. And with the abortion pill accounting for about 64% of all abortions, it's tragic, but it's no surprise. However, preborn is a ministry of compassion that showers women and babies with God's love, providing them free ultrasounds for mothers with unplanned pregnancies. And when a mother sees her baby on an ultrasound, sees the heartbeat, feels the heartbeat, it turns out that the mother is often twice as likely to allow the baby to go on to live a long and happy life. $28 sponsors one ultrasound, and $140 helps to rescue 5 unborn babies. Your generous tax-deductible donation will also help provide women who choose life get to choose life with assistance for up to 2 years. So please give the best gift that you can give. In order to donate, it's quite simple. You just dial pound 250 on your cell phone, and when prompted, say the keyword baby. Pound 250 on your cell phone, and the keyword is baby. Or you can go online and visit preborn.com/plant. That's me, preborn.com/PLANTE. I've got an extra E. Nobody knows why. Yes, sir. Yeah, and I haven't even figured the sheriff is so great. I love this sheriff. He's wonderful. Yeah, and the yet another woman, this time a mother of 5, just out for a hike, murdered by a Salvadoran illegal alien, probably an MS-13 gang member, committing crimes all over the country after murdering a woman in El Salvador. And now we get to clean it up. It's all on Joe Biden's plate. The blood is all over Joe Biden. All right, so the Democrats with amnesty, and look, I don't care. You got busted for some pot charge years ago and they dropped the whatever. That's fine. That's true. Everybody walks around D.C. smoking joints up and down the sidewalk. The sheriff in Maryland, but the illegal alien thing, we're becoming Mad Max beyond Thunderdome. But Harford County, Maryland Sheriff Jeffrey Gawler.
This is the second time in just 2 years that an innocent Harford County woman has lost her life to a criminal in our country illegally. Let me repeat that. 1,800 miles from the southern border, and this is the second woman in our county to be killed by an illegal alien.
Can you imagine something like that? Absolutely extraordinary. And this guy, the sheriff, is great. He should run for Congress, but it's Maryland. They only have what? What do they send to Congress? Nothing very good. All right, a great deal more coming up. Replacing Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, and more. The governor, Wes Moore, he was on Face the Nation yesterday. And since he's the governor of Maryland, he was asked about the illegal alien murdering the mother of 5 in Maryland, and he blamed Trump because they're going to die blaming Trump for their deaths 50 years from now. It's a mental illness. And Governor Wes Moore is not a stupid man, but it sounds like he's a Democrat, so he's corrupt, and that's just the deal with them. They're very corrupt people. Amazing stuff. Hillary Clinton was at the Tony Awards last night. I hope to be able to get to that. She's allegedly a producer, an executive producer, because she doesn't have to do anything and they give her money. And then she says, oh, yeah, you should go see this play. It's a play called Suffs, because you can't say suffragettes, as in the suffrage movement, as in women getting the vote, which the Democrat Party prevented from happening for about 2 decades, the last time I looked at that. But a remarkable thing. The Democrats fought against women getting the vote. The Democrats fought against black people getting freedom. The Democrats fight against everything good. But Chuck Schumer is going to have a stupid vote on bump stocks because, I got an idea, Chuck. Maybe Democrats should stop shooting people. Just saying. Man, oh man. The suffrage movement, the bill, the amendment to the Constitution, first introduced in 1878. 1878. Didn't pass the House of Representatives until 1919. Then the Senate in 1919. And then it had to, be ratified by all the states. And the Democrats fought against women getting the vote from the start. and they fought it in the states once it passed through Congress and was signed by the president. They fought against women getting the vote because they're not on our side. They weren't on our side then. They're not on our side now. So many amazing, amazing stories. But Hillary was there. Just amazing, amazing, crazy. There's a great headline. G7 officially changes name to G6 after Biden wanders off again. Biden wandered off again and said, hey, this isn't a G7 anymore. It's just the G6. Of course, that's the Babylon Bees headline. But it might as well be the New York Times because they're out of their stinking minds. Now, a great story from the Daily Caller. It's an exclusive. Chinese cyber police agents run online network helping illegal immigrants flood into the U.S. I'm sorry, what? A private social network run by a self-identified Chinese government agent. I wonder if if they're dating Eric Swalwell. Provides illegal immigrants with resources to get into the U.S. and evade border authorities, Daily Caller News Foundation investigation discovered. The American Self-Guided Tour Channel is a Chinese-language group with over 8,000 members on an encrypted instant messaging platform, Telegram, that serves as both a forum for discussing Chinese illegal immigration and as a hub for documents detailing specific routes to the U.S., Daily Caller News Foundation review of the channel found. Documents in the Telegram channel, translated by Daily Caller News Foundation, identify U.S. border wall gaps, instruct Chinese nationals on how to answer questions from Border Patrol agents, and provide scripts for requesting asylum. So Chinese, the government, they're against us. The Democrat Party, honestly, the Democrat Party is hell-bent to destroy America, and they're doing a heck of a job. They really are doing a heck of a job. Isn't it amazing? The left. And here's a crazy one from the Washington Free Beacon, the Free Beacon story today. Ford Foundation, like Henry Ford. They make automobiles. Ford Foundation sends millions of dollars to organizations that have celebrated the October 7th terrorist attacks. It's all about the left. This is all the left. Shortly after October 7th, the president of the Ford Foundation, Darren Walker, he's an African-American man. He is a Democrat Party activist. They take over these foundations with money so they can funnel all the money to left-wing sources. That's how Barack Obama met William Ayers at the Annenberg Foundation, because the lefties target, they see source of money. Let's take it over. How do we take it over? Then they take it over and they abuse all the money. It's the capitalist will sell you the rope with which to hang them. But Walker, who has been lauded by Laurene Powell Jobs as an optimist and a realist and a prophet who speaks truth to the world's most troubling demons, announced that the Ford Foundation would bankroll immediate humanitarian relief efforts in Gaza and the Middle East. So naturally what happens is the money goes to left-wing groups and pro-jihad groups and all that crazy. Speaking of which, we got a crazy story about one of the squad members today, as a matter of fact, because she is completely out of her mind. But before we get to her, and I do want to get to her because she's completely nuts and a typical Democrat, amazing stuff. But we'll get to her. Now, right now, let's go to so many stories. Let's go to, we've got Hillary Clinton at the Tony Awards last night. That's for theater, live theater, And Hillary Clinton was up on the stage, and she was dressed in a tablecloth. Everybody's making fun of what she was wearing, and rightly so. I mean, it was kind of a nice, like if you're at the beach and you want to keep the sun off yourself as a woman, something like that. But Hillary Clinton last night at the Tony Awards.
I have stood on a lot of stages, but this is very special. And I know a little bit about how hard it is to make change.
Little bit.
So I'm extremely proud of this original American musical.
It's an original American musical. It's called Suffs, which is supposed to be short for suffragettes who are fighting to get women the vote. But the Democrat Party, Hillary's party, fought successfully for decades to prevent women from getting the vote. Women would have had the vote much, much earlier were it not for the Democrat Party, and they're fighting against women getting the vote. They did it very effectively, first in Washington, then in the states, when the states had to ratify the 19th Amendment to the Constitution.
It is about some American originals, the suffragists who fought so valiantly for so long to give women in our country the right to vote. It's almost impossible to think about what a challenge that was.
Then she gets the music.
But now it's an election year, and we need to be reminded about how important it is to vote.
Stop talking, lady. The music is coming up. You can't just keep babbling. And she just kept talking for a little. But the music was up, and she's the producer, executive producer of this Broadway play, which means she's being paid lots of money for making no contributions whatsoever, and for being a member of the party that prevented women from getting the vote in the United States for decades, but pay no attention to that because none of that matters. The Democrat Party gets away with all of this stuff, honestly. And I got to tell you, the Daily Mail story is a great one on replacing Joe Biden because they know, and again, Hillary Clinton is not going away. This was last night that Hillary Clinton was at the Tony Awards, right? And night before last, Joe Biden was walked off stage by Barack Obama, days after Joe Biden being walked back on stage by the Italian prime minister, which was a couple of days after Joe Biden being woken up by George Floyd's brother at the Juneteenth event. Juneteenth is actually day after tomorrow, but they celebrated it at the White House last week. Isn't that amazing? But now the Daily Mail has an amazing story about replacing Biden. And they're talking about Obama, and they're talking about Hillary Clinton, and they're talking about Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and everybody lining up to talk about Joe Biden leaving the White House because they know that he is not up to the job. And they're thinking that if this gets too embarrassing, they're going to have to give him the hook. But Hillary Clinton, I've been saying this all along. I've been saying all along that Joe Biden cannot or will not be the nominee once Election Day rolls around. And I'm still standing by that. By hook or by crook. Remember Joe Biden? I played the audio earlier today of Barack Obama saying that if he could just be president for a third term by phone and never have to do anything, and that's what's going on right now with the Biden administration. And when Obama walked Biden off the stage on Saturday night, that was a big moment. And the Daily Mail, and you may remember again, Joe Biden saying if the time comes, he'll fake an illness and step aside. He was talking about during the Obama Biden administration, but this is when he was running for president that he said this.
When we disagree, it'll be just like, so far, it's been just like when Barack and I did. If I reach something where there's a fundamental disagreement we have based on a moral principle, I'll develop some disease and say I have to resign.
Yeah, well, that's the time is now, old pal of mine. And again, the Daily Mail with an exclusive today. Secret Democrat plot to replace Biden revealed, : they love their colons. How Clinton, isn't it funny they named Clinton first? how Clinton, Obama, Pelosi, and Schumer will topple the aging president and when they'll do it. So the story in the Daily Mail, nearly every time President Joe Biden appears in the public these days, he fuels the chatter. Will aging Joe bow out of the 2024 race? Will he be forced to step aside? In the latest incident, President Barack Obama seen Saturday night reaching for Biden's hand, seemingly guiding the 81-year-old commander-in-chief off the stage Los Angeles fundraiser. And, of course, I just mentioned that in France and at the Juneteenth event, and White House spokesperson Andrew Bates denying that Biden froze in the viral video, which we've posted on our social media, calling it a cheap fake memo. It's a cheap fake memo being spewed by the media. The media is giving you a tongue bath over this. They're not reporting the truth at all. They should be aggressively pursuing all this. But at Juneteenth and at this and at that, and the idea is that that Biden is going to have to be pulled, and that Clinton wants in. And look, she's the perfect, because Michelle Obama doesn't want it, right? Kamala Harris is not up to the task. But if Joe Biden steps down, how do they? And here's one of the hypotheses that is being bandied about. And who is it? I think it was my pal Marty yesterday at the gun show, who's saying that this is the new scheme. Kamala, they have Sonia Sotomayor step down from the Supreme Court. They're already pressuring her because they're racists and they're sexists. And they want her to step down from the Supreme Court, then give that seat on the Supreme Court to Kamala. She was the Attorney General of the state of California, put everybody in jail for pot, stuff like that. And had sex with Willie Brown, the big Democrat in Sacramento. And that's what launched her career, because Democrats, don't run a black light over them, whatever you do. But Kamala becomes Supreme Court Justice, and Hillary Clinton steps in, and she saves the day. She becomes the Democrats' presidential nominee. Oh, she was so wronged when Donald Trump won in 2016. Just a lot of hooey. Okay. We've got, I want to share with you, I got too much stuff again. It was a weekend. Too much stuff accumulating. But I want to share with you these Democrats in Philadelphia that decided to unionize their coffee shops, right? That just happened last week. You'll never guess what happened next, and I've got audio for you of these people with the studs, the women with the studs through their noses and their faces and their tattoos and and they decided to unionize the coffee shop. You'll never guess what happened next. Now, last week, I shared with you a story having to do with the manifesto of Audrey Hale, who murdered 6 people at the Covenant School near Nashville, Tennessee, killing 3 9-year-old children, 3 adults. Transgender, suicide attack. Police had to shoot and kill Audrey Hale. And the Tennessee Star, the newspaper called the Tennessee Star, which is a real newspaper in Tennessee, they got a hold of the manifesto and they published it last week, showing that this transgender person hated Christians, hated people, hated men, was filled with hate. Published the manifesto, which the FBI and the police had kept a secret from the public. They should go to prison for keeping it a secret. And now a radical left-wing judge named Chancellor Aisha Miles of Davison County ordered Michael Patrick Leahy, the owner and editor of the conservative website, the Tennessee Star, which broke the news, the manifesto, into court. And he is now facing prison time if he doesn't reveal his sources. I just read to you multiple stories from the Washington Post today with their anonymous sources. These people are the left. They're communists. They're not Western civilization. They're the opposite of Western civilization. Just amazing. All right, now let's get to this coffee shop, because this is crazy stuff. The coffee shop in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where the employees announced and took a vote that they're unionizing and they're going to be union employees, and they have a list of demands for the coffee shop. And 3 coffee shops, Philadelphia, and the owners of the coffee shop said, oh, okay, those coffee shops are closed and you're all out of jobs.
Ori, you can't hide. We all see your greedy side.
Local
Former
news.
Employees of OCF Coffee House rallied outside of the now closed Fairmount Cafe on Tuesday.
We've been paid really bad wages, and this was our attempt to get better wages and make the place that we love better.
The coffee shops are owned by OCF Realty. The real estate brokerage announced the closures to employees in an email, which included 2 other locations in South Philly.
Now, you heard this woman screaming and yelling, and they did it where they all have bullhorns. And if some morbidly obese idiot with tattoos and rings through her nose and stuff, she's wearing a Saudi Arabian shawl, the red and white headdress as a shawl, and she's screaming that they're gonna make things better. And now they're all out of work. This is the local news station covering it, CBS Philadelphia.
Workers like Alex Simpson say they were shocked.
I am pretty crushed, especially when it's such a blatant response to our union process.
It's a blatant
this comes
response.
A week after we publicly announced our union.
Well, you see, they can't make money. They're running business, and now you guys are out of work. You're all out of work. So they shut down. It's OCF. It's run by another firm, like a financing firm. And their coffee houses, OCF Coffee House in Philly, they voted to unionize. And a week later, all the stores shut down, all 3. And now they're angry. And they're wearing their Arabian headdress. They should all move to Saudi Arabia. I think they'd enjoy it there.